Welcome to Now, the informative talk show that talks about everything and everybody.
Welcome to Now, N-O-W, that's right, N-O-W, Now. The informative talk show that talks about everything and everybody. And I do mean everything and everybody. Joining me are my co-hosts, Kim Galloway, Tony Carter, Brian Wright, and Karen Hammonds. Yeah. Today we're talking about relationships. We're talking about marriage, the structure of marriage. We're talking about children. Who does what? Who's in charge? And how can we handle our marriages? And you know what? In the world today, and if you just look at the television, okay, everyone is against everybody. Political parties against this. We're almost in World War III, correct? Okay, you got one race against this race, you got one neighborhood against this neighborhood. And so when you're talking about marriages and you're talking about children, it is good to know who does what, who's in charge, who's not in charge, who does the discipline, who does not do the discipline. You know what, Brian? You're married, right?
Yep.
How long you been married?
About 30 years.
30 years?
Not 30, but 24.
30 years. I want to ask you one question. He's not playing. He's how many years really?
It's 24 going on 25.
24, 25. Okay, yeah. All right. I need to ask you one question. Who is in charge of the household? What are the responsibilities of a husband?
That's a good question. Who's in charge? When you say about who's in charge, there's many different methods about who's in charge.
Okay, when I say who's in charge, I know that it's the male. I know it's the husband, but I'm not trying to be funny. But is he the head or is he led?
It all depends on what type of husband that you have or what type of wife you have. See, some men use the Archie Bunker method.
The who?
The Archie Bunker method. Get my plate while his feet sitting up, or George Jefferson, method.
Well, roll back that Archie Bunker method.
King in the castle. Some men use those methods.
Okay.
Or you have some men that use the worldly woman method. Mm-hmm. Yes, dear. Whatever you say, dear. Right away, dear.
So he's the led one.
He's the led one.
Okay.
Let me bring the check, dear.
Okay.
He's the led one. Or you have some men that's governed by the women's lib method. He ain't around.
Okay.
I don't need you. I can do whatever you do.
Okay. What about, let's go back to the Archie Bunker method.
Yes. The Archie Bunker method is simply, I'm gonna rule and reign over this house. I'm gonna do what I want, say what I want, and
I'm in charge.
I'm in charge. That's how it's gonna be. And you have no say-so whatsoever.
Okay. That's one method. What about the other method?
The other method is pretty much kind of similar. You think you in charge with the George Jefferson method. But the woman let you think you in charge for a little while, but she's gonna get her way. But
okay, so he's the head, but he's not really the head. He's led, right?
He thinks he's the head.
He thinks he's the head.
Yeah. She allowed him to be the head
from time to time. Audience, do not write me. Okay, go ahead.
He thinks he's the head from time to time, but all truth and honesty, the man is supposed to protect the woman. He's supposed to protect the woman. He's supposed to love the woman. And he's just not just supposed to, he's supposed to protect her from intruders. I got some guys that this would be a guy that would fall under the lead. He said if he hear a noise in his house, he got a big house, that he ain't going downstairs. He gonna send his wife to go upstairs. You got some, that's a man that's gonna be led. Like he not gonna protect his wife. He's supposed to protect the wife from intruders. He's supposed to protect the wife from kids, from even your kids. From your kids. From your kids.
So explain that.
In other words, men would allow the kids to rule and reign the household.
And misuse the wife.
And misuse the wife.
Yeah. Okay.
And in some instances, this happens because the wife will cut the legs out of the man and tell him not to discipline the man. And so that's the man that's being led. So he don't want any confrontation. So he's not going to do what's necessary to make sure the order remains as it should in the house.
Okay, let's go back to these kids. So he allows the kids, the children that he feeds, to misuse his wife.
To misuse his wife and run amok in the house. Running amok. He's there. He's present, but he's not there.
Okay, but that means he's not the head.
No, he's not.
He's
That's
being
a man.
led.
That's another example of a man being led.
Okay, I need to say something. I respect Brian. He's married, and he's a good father, a good husband. What are your responsibilities in the house?
King of the castle, king of the castle. My responsibility is to protect my wife. From whatever may come at family members, to stand up for and not let her be ran by family members like a stop sign, like some do.
Right.
To take the pressure off my wife, to nurture my wife, to pretty much lay down my life for my wife, not to govern over her. I have the final say so because I'm the head of the house. But
so I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to interrupt you. That means that while you're watching TV and you want a glass of water or milk, you don't turn to your wife and say, "Go get me some water."
Well, sometimes I use the Archie bunker. No, I don't. Well, no. If she's in the kitchen, then I'll say, "You know what, baby? Can you hand me a glass of water or a bottle of water, whatever the case?" But if not, I'm gonna get up and get it myself. That's not what we're supposed to do as men. It's supposed to lord over your wife.
Okay, but
you're supposed to be considerate.
Okay. You're considerate, but you are the head of your house.
I'm the head of my house.
So I'm gonna get you in trouble. How do you lead in your house?
I lead by example. In my house. I make sure that I do the duties that's needed as a man. I don't make my wife go take the garbage out. I take the garbage out. I make sure as a man, I provide the prayer in the house. I pray for the house or whatever the case may be. I do whatever's necessary.
You're the lead prayer.
I'm the lead prayer in the house.
Okay.
I don't sit back and baby you. No, I pray.
Okay. Why are you the lead prayer? I mean, I was not expecting you to say that.
It's not that a woman can't lead the prayer, whatever the case may be, but as it's my duties as the husband of the house to be the moral compass in my house. It's not for me to sit back and neglect my duties. This is what's been put on me from God.
Okay. So you're the lead prayer. You're sometimes Archie Bunker.
Every now and then, baby, if you watch.
I need to say something. I totally agree with what he's saying because men are supposed to be the heads of their homes. Yes. Okay. And the order goes like this. He's the president. She's the vice president. The scripture says that wives are to do what? Everybody knows it.
Honor.
What? Honor?
Honor. Yeah.
Obey?
Yes.
Okay. So, what did you say?
That word obey.
Okay. Now they're saying that word obey like it's a bad word.
I don't know.
Okay, but let me explain what it actually means. It actually means that the husband is the president or the vice. Did I say vice president?
No, president.
He's the vice president. He's being led. Okay, but he's the president. He's the head of the house. After the husband is the wife. So the responsibility of the wife is to do what? To be helpmeet? To help him. Yes. All right, to give him wisdom, understanding, push him off to work. But I'm serious. I'm really serious. If the husband is the head of the house, then the wife is second in charge. Okay, she's the vice president, correct?
Yes.
So what are her duties? It simply means this: she's to obey her husband. Now, obey doesn't mean get up and give me a glass of water. Right. Obey simply means this: he's in charge of the home. He has the last say so. But can I say something? No house is ran by one person.
No.
Okay, so as a family, her input and wisdom, her understanding, and usually, I'm just saying, if Mr., I'm calling him Mr., if Mr. works all day and he leaves at 7:30, he doesn't come home till 7:30, then someone must be in between to give wisdom and understanding and instruction. Okay, so that usually is the what? The wife. Okay, the scripture says that wives ought to obey their husbands, correct? Yes. So what is your interpretation of obey?
Get my water. No.
I mean, seriously.
No. It's if I set a precedent in the home, you know, we got to work together against the inmates. Mm-hmm. Against the inmates. So we are supposed to work.
What, did you say inmates?
Inmates. Can't let the inmates run the asylum. Too many times the children will run the house if you're not if you don't have a united front. Okay. So you have to have a united front. Okay. You know, or whatever the case may be. So the woman, you get the last say so, we gotta die. So you just don't, or what as TD Jakes put it, you just don't get a chance to pick out if we get Wendy's or Burger King. I got to die. So it's you still have to be united. You know.
So he's the head. He has the last decision. What happens if you are married to someone that's indecisive, or someone that doesn't care, or someone that simply does not want to lead? How do you handle that in a home? How does the wife stay submissive? Okay, and can I say this? And I know I'm going to get a lot of letters. Submissive with respect. Okay, because that's the key thing. Because when they say husbands, wives, obey your husbands, it's actually saying respect your husband, honor your husband. Okay, and if I started to say dude, I'm sorry. Okay, but if sir is not honorable, if sir is not able to lead, if sir is undisciplined, then what do you do?
It all depends on what type of woman or wife it is, because if it's a wife that's saved and love the Lord, then she know through her life, modeling her life as a godly woman, it will change him. It will change him, and in a sense, we kind of help nurture one another. If a woman speaks, it's plain. It's like this. If she speaks to the fool in him, she's gonna get the fool. She's gonna get the court gesture. But if she speaks to the king in that man, she will get what she's looking for. She will get the king. He will step up to the plate and take responsibility, take the responsibilities that he's supposed to take as the husband.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to that because I've counseled a lot of people, and I've seen many women weep and cry into the day their husbands died. Okay, because they could not change him. Okay, my question is, and we'll get back to it, but we're gonna go over here to Tony. Tony, you're head of your house. You have children. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, you have boys. Okay.
Fortunately for me.
Okay. Fortunately for you. But boys are hard to lead. How do you discipline your sons? Is it your responsibility to discipline your sons? Does your wife discipline your son? What's going on? You know, and the reason why I'm asking you this, when you turn on the television, you're looking at 12, 13, 14-year-old kids robbing, carjacking. When you're in the streets of Chicago, you're looking at young kids walking up and down the street using foul language, doing all kinds of things. And the first thing that comes in your mind is, where are the parents?
First of all, as a father, you got to be in your right place.
What is your right place?
You have to be the moral compass in your house. You have to be right, because kids see everything.
There you go.
And if you out of pocket, they're gonna see that. You're not gonna be an example to them.
So in other words, do as I say. No, don't do what I do.
No.
I know you saw me, but do as I say.
As an early father, I probably was a little like that, but I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? These kids are sponges. They soak up everything. Okay. So what you're doing around them, you have to, like I used to drink. And I used to drink around my son. I had to stop. You know what I'm saying? Okay. People say, "Oh, you stopped because you were in church." No, I stopped before I got in church because I felt
obligated.
I felt a little bad as a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm leading this child. Where am I leading him to?
Right, yes, right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I seen my father, and I was kind of going down that road. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so how do you discipline your sons, or do you discipline your sons?
Yes, I do. It's not, you don't always got to beat them down verbally or physically beat them down. Sometimes it's just a conversation. Hey, this is what it is. You can't do this, you can't do that. But if you do it, it's consequences behind this.
Okay. So what you're saying, you basically talk.
Yes.
Okay, I came out of the spank family.
I came out of two different families now. I had a spank and I had a verbal talker. My father would talk you and you would think you got spanked.
Yeah.
Because you would sit there 3-4 hours in this conversation and you would think
cry.
you got spanked.
You would
know what
cry.
I'm saying?
Really?
My mother, just let her get it over with. Come on, mama, let's get this over with. Let's get this over with.
Okay, so you being the head of your house, you are always conscious of how you are responding to your kids and responding to your wife in your home.
Yes.
In the back of your mind, are you thinking, I got to do this right because one day he's going to be a man and he's going to marry and he's going to have a wife?
Yes, and I watch my kids now, and I see a lot of things that I did. They mimicking it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They not disrespectful to women. I got a little firecracker at home. I had to set him in place sometimes now because he got that age. He's smelling himself. You know what I'm saying? So.
Audience will give you the definition of smelling yourself at another show. Okay. You know what? When we're talking about marriage and relationships, you're talking about kids, everybody goes through something in their marriage and everybody goes through something with their kids. And what I've noticed in the world, in the church, or in the workplace is people are real sad when they have to come and rebuke disappointing kids, okay? A kid that you did everything you can do, okay? You taught them everything you can teach them, and for some reason, one reason or another, they go sideways. What do you do when your child has disappointed you over and over again, when they're outright rebellious? Karen.
Wow, that's heartbreaking. that's really heartbreaking.
Okay.
But first of all, you have to look within yourself and you have to see, have I done everything? Have I been an example in my home as a mom, as a dad? You know, most of the time, it says train up a child in the way they should go and they won't depart from it. So you have to make sure as the parent that the child understands I am the parent and I set the rules. I have expectations from you and you have expectations from me as well.
Hold on, let me interrupt you. You're in the wrong dispensation. You are in the wrong dispensation.
Well, what do you do?
In 2022, grandma has a miniskirt on and she's going to the club.
Okay.
Mama is going to the club with grandma. Okay? And Lulabelle, whatever her name is, she's following. Okay, so you're in the wrong.
But somebody got to be the parent. That's what I'm really trying to say. Somebody got to be the parent to rear this child.
Okay, somebody.
But
I'm looking at families where everybody's friends.
Yeah.
The mama, the grandmama, the kid, everybody's friends. They hanging out together.
That's where the problem comes
That's what the problem is.
Okay, so let's get back to disappointing kids. What do you do? And all of us have been disappointed by our children, but sometimes it's overly disappointment. Okay, it's back-to-back rebellion, back-to-back disappointment, back-to-back disobedience. What do you do? What did you do?
All I did what I could do. Sometimes it was physical. Sometimes it was threatening. I had to threaten you, and I had to let you know, right? And I had to let them know. Look, it's gonna be this way. The dad, look.
Okay, so when you say the dad, have you ever noticed that when a man is in charge of his home, and the woman is doing what she's supposed to do, but the kids really don't pay attention to her. And all you got to do is say, that's okay.
Yeah.
Wait till your daddy gets home.
It's a different tune.
It's a different tune.
Why is it a different tune?
Because it's something about the name Gino, but it's something about the man's voice. And so I even seen it in the church, because I guess I got like my age. Nevertheless, I got kind of like an old school spirit where I came from that dispensation where you firm with certain things you don't do, certain things you don't say. So I come through the church always and I see kids playing. As soon as they hear my voice, it's a tin hut, because it's something about that male figure when he takes his rightful place, that kids will listen to. But if you're the one that's being led, you're going to get ran like a stop sign.
Okay, so if you're not the head and you're being led, the kids are going to run over dad and mom.
Yes.
Okay, let me say something. This is kind of crazy because what I'm thinking, I was raised mom and dad, but my father was kind of soft. Okay, and when me and my brother, when Fred, we did something. Did I mention his name? I don't want to get sued. Okay. But when we did something, my father would call us in the room, have us lay on the bed, and he would pretend like he was spanking us. And he would say, "You better start hollering, because your mama gonna come in here."
Wow.
Okay, now he was not led. He was clearly the head of his house. Okay, my mother didn't work, he paid all the bills, he it was just that one area.
He did it out of love.
He did it out of love, and he just could not see himself chastising his children. I should have probably been grateful, right?
It's not going to happen.
But it's not going to happen.
It's not the way it works.
When a kid walks out of a room and should have been disciplined and not disciplined, the kid loses respect for the person that did not discipline them. And so my brother and myself, we would walk out and I would say under my breath, "Punk."
Oh, I remember we had a conversation like this before, like when we were doing the youth.
Okay.
And it was Tony's son, my little cousin. He spoke up and he was like, "If my dad didn't chastise me, same thing you just said, I would think he was a punk."
That's what I'm saying. And I'm grateful that I didn't get a whooping. Okay, so grateful. But I'm thinking to myself, punk. All right, so Kim Carter. Kim is an advocate of it takes a village to raise a child. In 2022, she still believes that. Why?
Because it does. When growing up, I was going to say what year I was born, but I was born in the 70s. I will be proud of that. Growing up, when you did something wrong outside, you had Miss Hooper, you had Miss Lee, Miss this, when they would be like, "Kim, you know better." Or if they coming up and you doing something wrong, they would pop you. And then they walk you right up to your mama house. And when you walking me up to my mama house, you gonna get popped again.
Okay.
And kids need that. When they took beating out the household, that's why these.
Did you say beating?
Wait, don't say beating. Chastisement.
I'm grown
Chastisement,
now. Okay.
spankings.
When you took spanking out of the household,
Corrective action.
the kids, they just in an uproar. Like, even if you were a latchkey kid growing up, you still had respect.
Wait a minute. For the sake of the audience, what is a latchkey kid?
A latchkey kid is pretty much where the mother and the father works, and you get out of school before they even get home.
Okay.
So you had a key to get into the house. You better get in the house. You lock that door. You do your homework. You do your chores. You do what you had to do, before your parents get home, or at least 5 minutes before they got home. Whichever one worked in your household, But that was a latchkey kid, pretty much a kid with a key to the house because the parents were at work.
Okay, were you a latchkey kid?
Probably when I was a teenager. When I was younger,
We were
the
teenagers.
fear of God was in my house.
Yes.
Were you a latchkey kid?
I was a latchkey, yes.
I was a latchkey kid after 13 because my
Same.
parents were together and my mom, she worked Christmas and Easter, the holidays, okay? Were you a latchkey kid?
Later on in life.
Yeah,
now
teenage years.
Teenagers.
So, you say it takes a village.
Yes.
This is 2022 in Chicago, Illinois.
I know.
Okay, so how can you, in 2022, Chicago, Illinois, take a village to raise these children?
You know what?
What can you do? What can we do?
As humans, as people, we have to come back to wisdom does not come with age, and we just really,
How dare
no,
you?
wisdom does come with age. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Wisdom comes with age. It does. It does. Wisdom comes with age, and so we have to remember that. Like most kids growing up, like in the 80s, they don't want to beat their kids because their mama beat them. That's why they want to be friends with them, but that's not gonna work. Then you got your 90s group. This is so honest, and look at your family. The great grandmother is about 45.
There you go.
The grandmother about in her 30s. The grandmother in her 30s. Then the mom about in her 20s. Then you got this kid, 13. And they probably got a kid, so there's no wisdom nowhere. Everybody is raising each other. When I was growing up, you had Big Mama and you had Grandmama in the house. And Big Mama, and Papa too, most definitely. But Papa was still working. Okay. And so when you had what is it called? Everything, you had order. Everybody was on one accord. The neighborhood was on one accord. The community was, if something was going wrong in the household, you had a whole neighborhood to help pick you up.
So in 2022, we don't have a village.
They call it the jungle now.
Yeah. It's the jungle?
Yeah, we have crab in the barrel syndrome. Don't touch my kid right, not my baby. And that,
Not that. So we don't have a village.
Not at all.
But we still have a responsibility as human beings to do something or say something.
We have this new concept that wrong, like it's no matter what. In other words, if they're wrong, I'm gonna back them no matter what. Even parents, friends, or whatever the case may be. This is kind of replaced the village in a sense, or the ideology of a village and what it brought forth. Because now it's like, I don't care if you bust that kid head. That kid shouldn't have brought his head over here.
Right. That is it. Okay, let me say something. I don't know if I want to say it or not. The Bible says, okay, husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church. Now wait, I know you're happy about that. Okay, but what I'm going to say is this. Does the scripture say that wives are not supposed to love their husbands, only respect them? Because that's what it looks like. But it says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. But then when you go to Ephesians, the 5th chapter, 22nd verse, it says, wives, obey your husbands. So my interpretation, and shoot me down if you want to, is that wives are not required to love their husbands, but required to respect them. And husbands are required to love their wives as Christ loved the church. So if I don't want to obey my husband, okay, that means what? Am I out of sync? I'm out of order, right? But what if I have a husband that don't love me like Christ loved the church?
You're going to have a stalemate. Because a husband that doesn't love the wife is not going to respect the husband. Somebody has to be the bigger person, and somebody has to give.
Okay, so we're going to end this. God bless you.
Thank you for tuning in to Now. Now is a production of In Between Amens. PM Blossom, executive producer. Co-host, Karen Hammonds, Kim Galloway, Tony Carter, and Bryant Wright. Now is a production of In Between Amens in partnership with World Outreach Conference Center for East 111th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60628, 773-264-2588.